Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is going to be another raid Shadow Legends video. So today we're going to be going through the 11 free champions that you get in this game, either when you're logging on or you're progressing through the game. So let's just crack straight on. I'm going to just go through in order that they land with you. I'm going to tell you, are they worth putting any effort into at all? And if they are, where would I use them? So we're going to kick straight into the first champion that you get. She's actually an epic, Shaman. To be fair, I mean, Shaman's actually got some really, really good base stats in the game. Good base stats. She's got an okay A1, she's got a bad A2, and she's got a revive a champion on her A3. So what I would say is, I wouldn't take this person up to 60. Shaman's not really a 60 for me. She can only really play in arena, very early game, and faction wars anywhere towards the late game. Other than that, her utility and her kit is just not strong enough compared to a lot of rares and tons of epics in this game. She features pretty low on my tier list. If you guys are not aware, I did a video the other day where I talk about my tier list upgrades. I mean, Shaman features pretty damn low. Where even is she? Still looking. We're still going down. She's got to be down here somewhere. Shaman, 76, but you see it's a lot of twos, threes. Kind of like a mid to low tier epic, not worth your time. So, very early game, worth using just until you get something better. But there's a ton of rares that replace her very quickly. So, the second one we get then is a Lizardman, Jizo. Jizo will probably stay in your faction war team until you pull a bunch of legendaries, because the Lizardman faction is weak. It's really weak. A load of these epics are bad. A load of the rares are bad as well. So Jizo gives you a bit of utility. He's definitely worth taking up to a 50. He's good for early game arena. He's got a nice amount of base defense here. Quite often, if you do not have like an ally attack or a counter attack for clan boss, you can actually throw counter attack on one of your champions. So you get a counter attack buff for 2 turns, so you can put it on your poisoner and they can keep throwing out more poison. So you can put this on someone like a frozen banshee. She gets a poison sensitivity out on her turn, then she gets a counter attack up and you're getting more poisons on the clan boss. So he does have some utility, but beyond that, everything he does is kind of single target. He doesn't hit particularly hard. He's a bit of a beast for the arena early game, but I wouldn't take him past level 50. That's Jizo. Everything I've talked about him doing there can be done at level 50, by the way, as well. It doesn't need to be a 6-star for that. So let's move on then to the first of the champions that I really like. So High Katoon, you get High Katoon at day 30. Got her on my free-to-play account. She is a really, really solid early game speed booster for you. So she's got crazy good base stats, 104 speed, defense. She's got this aura that can be used in all battles, which means you're pumping out another 19% speed on your base speed. So for most champions, it's somewhere between 17 and 20 speed extra that they're getting. That's a lot. That's like having another half pair of boots on. That's like having a third leg. No jokes about third legs in the comments below, please. So she brings a turn meter booster here. She brings a speed buff, and it only needs 1 book. If you get lucky and you just book this skill, perfect. She does bring some turn meter reduction here as well, and she brings a decreased speed debuff. So for Spider, she's very cool. For the arena, brilliant, like top tier. For early game to mid game. So for a day 30 champion, definitely worth investing in. However, you do not need her to be a 6-star to do all that she does. She gains a bit of extra speed as a 6-star, but you can definitely run her as a level 50 and get all the benefit of everything else apart from the final kind of 7 or so speed. So unless you're running her in your clan boss team, which you could do, by the way, I would keep her at a 50 and save some resources. So let's move on to the next one then. So next one is Yaga. Yaga doesn't get that much love, mainly because there's a couple of other poisoners which just outscale him pretty hard. So Frozen Banshee and Occult Brawler massively outscale Yaga in terms of damage output. However, he has got a good amount of poison on his A1, so he's got a 40% chance of placing a poison debuff every time he attacks A1. He's got a 2-hit, and each hit has got a chance to place poison again, both the big poisons. So he's got plenty of poison going on in all of his kits. And then his A3, which you don't really want him to use, to be honest, but he hits harder when poisons are out there. Now, again, for an early game account, you're going to get him at day 60. For an early game account, if you've not pulled one of those bigger poisoners and you're just using your Kale right now, this guy comes in and he will do some good clan boss damage for you. Good clan boss damage, and maybe will help you kill that dragon. Get the dragon down. If you're going to be running him in clan boss, you probably need to get him at least at level 50, but maybe you need to 6-star him, because really for clan boss teams, you want to be using the masteries tier 6. So that's a lot of investment for somebody that you're definitely going to replace as time goes on. However, he is good. He's like a mid-tier epic for clan boss. His main letdown is his base defense. It's low. You do need to put defense rings, amulets on him just to keep him alive, basically. But other than that, pretty good. Does bring an accuracy in all battles aura, which will be good for clan boss as well if you're struggling to get your accuracy up. Remember, guys, accuracy is the biggest stat to land. So, Yaga. Let's move on then to Dark Aethel. This is probably the worst, the early stuff that you can get. Dark Aethel, wrong one, sorry. Dark Aethel, when she came out, we all thought she was going to be actually really cool. Good base speed, good base attack. She's got a decreased defense A1, which is nice. She's got a decreased speed AoE A2, which is nice. And she's got an AoE increased speed on this champion if she kills 4 or more enemies. Now, she doesn't hit hard enough. That's basically the problem here. She doesn't hit hard enough to really make this ever kick in. It feels like she's blatantly meant to be a spider champion. She's not good enough. Do not waste your resources on Dark Aethel. Her kit looks way better than she is. She is not worth your time. Put her in your vault. Keep her for a rainy day. I'd say don't food people unless you have to. I'd be surprised if she ever became part of a fusion, but she could do. So keep hold of one copy of her, I'd say, unless you're desperate for that 4-star chicken. But for me, not worth your time. Let's go to the next one. And actually, Dark Hayne, right next to her. Really cool design. I actually really like the way they've kind of done this champion design. Her base defense is shocking, which means that she has to go first and she has to win straight away. She's only really... she's like a dungeon nuker stroke arena champ. So, and that's kind of similar to normal Hayne, yeah? But she does hit harder than Hayne. So, attack one enemy, decrease target max HP. It's terrible. Terrible ability, this. Increase attack on this champion, then attacks all enemies on her A2. This hits hard. This hits Skull Crown level damage. So don't be put off by people moaning about Dark Hayne. She can be your arena nuker. She's up there with a lot of epics in terms of damage output on this ability. She's also got a chance to place decreased speed on the same hit. It's kind of cool. It's actually a good ability. Fill this champion's turn meter by 25% on a passive and instantly activate this whenever whether this champion or an ally is frozen. That's actually very cool as well. And instantly removes any freeze debuff on this champion, and this is the silly thing about a kit. Then replaces it with increased crit rate, increased crit damage. So if you're up against someone like a Jingle Hunter, this could be cool. If you're up against someone like a Tormund, the chances are you've just broken the freeze and then you've probably just frozen yourself because you've just put a bunch of buffs on yourself. So this part of it is stupid, really. But she does hit hard. She is worth investing in if you don't have a nuker yet. And for, I think this is 120 days, she is a good champion. So let's move on then to the 150-day champion, Lordly Legionary. I'm a massive Game of Thrones fan, so I love the whole Game of Thrones theme here. He's got good base stats. He doesn't hit particularly hard. I've done a bunch of work on him. He hits okay amounts. And he's got some utility here. So he can place. Does he place? No, he doesn't place heal reduction himself. But if he's with someone that does, he gets extra hits. So he's blatantly a finite champion. So he gets decreased speed here on his A2. He's got reflect damage and continuous heal for the whole team on his A3. This is a finite steal. Reflect damage will hit the finite back with everyone that's got reflect damage on. So you'll burn through a bunch of layer of his shield straight away. Multi-hit here, potentially. Decreased speed here and turn meter. All of this is finite. Finite. However, he's the wrong affinity for level 20. That does not mean he can't help you get through to level 15, 16, 17. So if you've not managed to pull yourself an allure, or if you haven't got yourself a champion that's really doing the work for you on finites, this guy can help. But if you've got, if you've already got a Fellhound being built up, if you've already got someone else with that reflect damage, the rest of his kit is way worse. So for me, he's kind of like mid-tier. Can be useful for finites, and that's about it. It's a lot of investment in a champion if it's just for one area of the game. Let's move on to the first free legendary that you get then. So, Seal of the Drakes. This is a really good champion. This is a great first free legendary. It's at 180 days, so you've been playing the game for a long time already now, half a year nearly. But you get yourself a defense-based champion with a really good base stats. Decreased speed on an A1. This can be very cool in spiders, finites. A stun, AoE stun on her A2. Brilliant for getting through waves in any dungeon. Brilliant for faction wars. Really good ability here. And then she's got a revive and ally protection on her A3. Or it's actually on a... Yeah, A3, sorry, yeah. So can put it down to 4 turns. This is a brilliant Faction Wars ability. Brilliant. She will help you get through to much further stages in Faction Wars, and she'll help you get a higher number of stars in Faction Wars. So for me, she is worth, for sure, taking right up to 60. She has got a heal on a passive, so heals all allies by 10% of their HP at the start of each turn. Also places an increased speed buff on a random ally for 2 turns. It's actually a very cool passive. So Seal the Drakes, mid to top tier legendary. She's not going to be in like a crazy amount of clan boss teams and stuff like that, but she can kind of play anywhere in the game to a certain degree. Great in dungeons though, definitely great in spiders, definitely great in finites. Yeah, I really like her. Good legendary to get at 180 days. So let's move on then to some of the newer champs actually that are just dropped. And I'm probably going to do individual guides on these guys over time. So what we've got here, we're going to start with Tanex, who's Demon Spawn. Tanex. Yeah. So Tanex Hate Flower. I recently picked her up myself. I'm going to completely level her up and see what she's like properly. But in terms of her kit then, she's got a 2-hitter on her A1. Heals all allies by 3% of this champion's HP with each hit. So let's say you push, and her HP is high. So if you push her up, a good 60k HP, something like that, 50, 60k, you're going to be getting 6% of that back. So what's that, like 3 to 4k heal each time she does her A1? It's okay. It's nothing crazy. It's okay. Heals by this on each of the targets under decreased speed. Sorry, I misread it. Each of the targets under decreased speed. So if you've got the whole team with decreased speed, then you can get a good 10 to 15% heal out of this. That's pretty good, actually. And obviously, she brings decreased speed herself, which you can book up to, 100%. So, again, this is kind of cool. Decreased speed across the board. I'm just trying to think where you'd want it, though. I guess it's going to help you get through Faction Wars. Most epics can. This is good for Faction Wars. With those two together, giving you your healing going on. And then she's got a passive as well, which decreases the damage all allies take by 5%. It's okay. 5% is pretty low amount of damage, really, that it's mitigating. If there are multiple champions with this skill, it only does it once. Yeah. She's like, her A1 and her A2 are both good, but they're not great. I'd say she's an okay champion. I'm going to test her out properly myself. She does have good base stats, apart from her defense. but I don't think she's going to be kind of pushing your... When you're at 210 days, I'd be surprised if she's pushing into many spaces on your roster. So let's check out 240 days then. No one's got this champion yet through... I always think he's an orc, but he's not. He's an Ogren Tribes. He looks like an orc. Nobody's got this champion yet through login rewards. No one's got that far yet. But Grush the Mangler. So Grush is... apparently he's an ogre. He looks like an orc to me. He's got an A1 with leech on it, which is very cool actually. So 50% chance, books up to 75% chance of placing leech for 2 turns. For Clan Boss, leech is up there as one of the best debuffs if you can consistently get your hits away, because you can actually start to scrap lifesteal gear. I don't use lifesteal gear at all because I'm using Mashald, who's got leech. And this chance to land it is actually pretty good, 75% chance. So if you're running a counter attack or an ally attack team, you should keep leech up the whole time. So this champion for a leech chance is actually very good. He also brings an AoE here, books up to 100% chance of placing decrease attack and decrease crit damage. So again, actually for Clan Boss, that's kind of cool. 4-turn cooldown on it, only lands for 2 turns, so he can't be your decrease attack champion in full. It would have to be like a stand-in sort of champ for that. But it's an AoE as well, so in terms of dungeon content, this is a really good skill. And I guess even for the arena, this is actually a really good skill. Decrease attack and decrease crit damage. It's pretty cool, pretty useful. You're going to be pushing... You're going to be hard pushed to be killing people if you've got both of those debuffs on you. So he's then got an A3 with another AoE ability. Attacks all enemies, places continuous heal on all allies for 2 turns. That's nice. Places an additional heal if at least one enemy is hit with a crit. So you put some crit into him. You get basically 22% heals going out. Pretty nice. So for me, he's got a defense in Faction Crypt's Aura. For me, he's a good champ. I think this is the best of the kind of newest iteration of champs that came through. So Grush, I think he's going to be good. Again, I will be doing a guide on him, but definitely worth looking out for. And then lastly, so we've got... where is she? Dark Elves? Yeah. We've got a Void Legendary in Visix. So Visix is the 240 day. Is it 240? No, can't be. 270 day login bonus. 270 day. She's got a stack of defense, an absolute stack. 2 hitter on her A1. Each hit's got a chance of dropping turn meter. Love this A1. Really cool. So you've got a chance of dropping 20% turn meter just by A1 in. Very nice. Fills this champion's turn meter by the amount the target loses as well. So, in most areas of the game, Spider, Fire Knights, anywhere like that, where you're trying to manipulate turn meter, this is very good. She's got an AoE decreased speed on her A2. 100% chance if you get it booked up. Places a shield buff on this champion equal to 20% of their max HP as well. So she shields herself. It's a shame this is not a full team shield, actually. That would be insane. But kind of good, not crazy. But decreased speed on all enemies is nice. And then she's got a provoke for 1 turn. Also places ally protection on all allies on this except this champion for 2 turns. So she's kind of got inbuilt defense for your team. She's got a single target provoke. Now for me, it needs to be an AoE provoke, really. To be playing Void Legendary status, it needs to be an AoE provoke. It's not the best. It's not terrible, but it's not the best. Defense in Faction Crypts as well is kind of okay. For me, she's okay. By the time you get to 270 days, depends how you're playing the game, but I'd be surprised if she gets into too many of your teams. She's definitely not a Sill of the Drakes. Sill of the Drakes is way better than this, but she's kind of okay. Good base defense, good base speed, good base HP, so she can keep her alive really easily. She's got some good debuffs, some okay Terminator stuff going on. If this was an AoE provoke here, she would actually be in a ton of teams, but single target, it's just not good enough really. And provoke obviously doesn't land on bosses and stuff like that, so if you're not AoE provoking on, faction wars or something like that, then really you're singling out one target. It's not Void Legendary status for me. So that is all of the free champions rated, guys. For me, the standout ones are High Cocoon, Dark El Hayne, Scylla the Drakes, and Grush. 4 champions which I think are really worth your time, really worth investing in. The other ones may help you along the way, depends what other champions you've pulled. I've been Hell Hades. I'll catch you later.